Hi Virgos, and welcome to your October 2016 General Tarot Forecast. My name is Sky, and can I just say how excited I was at how many Virgos watched the September readings? I guess maybe it was this Mercury retrograde that was happening in your sign and is still happening at the moment. But there were, I think, the video's up to like 900 views, which makes me happy because my channel is very new and I haven't put too much work into it yet, so I appreciate all of the views from all the Virgos out there. Anyway, if you guys really like this reading or would like further clarification, you guys can check out my shop, which is linked in the description box below. And I would love to see you guys pop up over there. Anyway, without further ado, let's see what's going on for Virgos in October. Okay, so I definitely see a lot of changes happening. You know, September's reading wasn't bad, it wasn't great, it was kind of, you had some difficulties and some successes, that's for sure. And I definitely see transformation happening. You've got the Wheel of Fortune and Death, so that's two major arcana cards, which definitely suggests that October is going to be a significant month. And the Wheel of Fortune and Death are both cards that imply change or signify change, transformation, a new cycle. The Wheel of Fortune has turned into the reverse, though, so it's definitely, the Wheel of Fortune is always karmic, but any negative things that you've done, Virgo, may now come back into your life and may rear their heads now. So if there's anything that you've done, Virgos, that you need to make amends for, anything that you can do to right the wrongdoings that you've done in the past, now is a great time to do that before, you know, the universe kind of forces your hand on that. I talk a lot about that. So something that's really jumping out at me, and it just kind of like hit me really hard, and I kind of just completely lost my train of thought, is how that Three of Wands right in the center of there is kind of connecting the Wheel of Fortune and Death. What that says to me is a lot of Virgos did make a lot of these changes, a lot of these transformations have happened, and now you're just sort of looking towards the future, you're looking at the horizons with this new fresh start, and you're kind of scared. You're alone, and that scares you. And I'm not saying Virgo is one of the most independent signs of the zodiac. It's not that you can't do things by yourself, Virgo, but I think some of you guys did perhaps become codependent on someone else in your life, and now that you're sort of forced to look at your future, at your horizons alone, with no one to help, it's daunting. Because you've got that Two of Cups at the foundation of your reading, and I'm going to interpret that two ways for you guys. For some of the Virgos out there, this means that you have met someone new. Someone new is coming into your life. There is a soulmate connection, and that has been what has encouraged you to make these changes, to make these transformations, and to look at these new horizons. For the other Virgos out there, and I feel like this is actually going to be in the majority because that Three of Wands is in the reverse in the center, the memories of your past relationship, the memories of your past soulmate connections are what is leaving you feeling so daunted right now, is what is leaving you with this fear of the new. Because you experienced such happiness in the past, you experienced such fulfillment to a level that the transformations that you have made and the people that you've potentially cut out of your life who had this connection with you, and of course you cut them out because the negative started to outweigh the positive. But now that you can't have that positive, it's like you're scared. You're scared that you have to reach within and you have to do this all on your own. And it's not that you can't do it. There's also an excitement. It's kind of a fear and excitement, and that's sort of intermeshing itself together and creating a whole spectrum of just kind of almost an emotional roller coaster right now, I definitely sense. You know, when you see the Wheel of Fortune and Death together in the same reading, it kind of makes me think of an emotional roller coaster, because the Wheel of Fortune, if you look at the card, it's like, it almost kind of looks like a Ferris wheel, or it looks kind of like, I don't know, the creatures around it look like they're having fun. It looks kind of like carnivalesque to me, and there are definitely a lot of other interpretations of the Wheel of Fortune, visual descriptions that kind of meet that description. And then when you put death with it, you've got all those far-reaching emotional changes, introverted transformation. When you mix those two archetypes together, it's almost like an emotional roller coaster. It's kind of like almost macabre, like the way that you're redoing your emotions, or you're starting to kind of transform yourself on the inside, is turned almost into a circus or carnivalesque, macabre, like exciting. It's thrilling, it's exhilarating, but it's scary and daunting, and it's becoming almost like a game. Okay, I don't really know where that came from, but that definitely is hitting me really hard right now. You know, and that's enjoyable to some extent. It's exciting, but I think that a lot of Virgos out there need to just take some time to allow things to be consistent, to allow things to transgress and flow and fluctuate naturally. That's going to be really helpful right now. You've got that reversed Seven of Pentacles up on the top left corner. So, you know, you might not actually want to do that right now. That's sort of something that I'm getting. It's like you're tired of boring. You're tired. And Virgos are one of the signs who do not like boring. Like, not that you guys don't like to be comfortable, but in the sense that a Cancer loves comfort, consistency, stability. Virgos, you know, you guys are a mutable sign along with Sagittarius, Pisces, and Gemini. You guys like that fluctuation. You guys like that sort of unpredictability. It can kind of differ with some Virgos, though, because Virgo is very organized and can be very structured. But that's kind of the paradox of the sign of Virgo. Although you guys like organization and structure, you guys also kind of like elements of unpredictability, and that can get you guys into some trouble sometimes. That sort of dichotomy of personality traits within the sign of Virgo. So, you know, maybe you guys are actually in a phase where you don't like the consistency, where you, and this is kind of deep and shadow, like subconscious things. Like, it might not be too recognizable, but, you know, I was talking about that theme of almost like a carnival, or like a circus of your emotions and the way that your inner self-dialogue, the sort of image of yourself and how you react to things. It's kind of in a circus right now, and it's like that's really exhilarating, and you almost don't want to let that go, despite the stress that it might be causing, despite the instability that it brings into your life. There's something so exhilarating about the rush that you're getting right now, that when you're faced with more consistent things going on in your life, or you're faced with more stability, and you kind of live that out, and you sort of compare that to the circus and the carnival of the other side, it's like the grass is always greener on the other side. When you're in the circus, when you're in the carnival, you think, oh my gosh, I wish that I had the consistency, I wish I had the stability. When you're in a consistent and stable situation, you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I had the rush, I wish I had the emotional roller coaster. And you're just kind of stuck in that pattern. This is also a representation of the Two of Cups as well, because the Two of Cups, yes, it represents a soulmate connection with another person, but this can also be your own self-dialogue and your relationship with yourself. Because if you notice, the two people in that picture, they look like the same person. And, you know, we can choose to interpret that as soulmates who have such a strong karmic connection and karmic bond that they have become the same person, to a sense, that if that bond were broken, it would be like death for both. Or we can interpret that as just the same person, the reflection that we have of ourselves and how we choose to communicate with ourselves on an internal level. So as that relates to what I was saying about the grass always being greener on the other side and such, it's like, it's hard to commit to one way of being. And as I said, that's true. That's just kind of a personality trait of all the mutable signs, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Gemini. You know, you fluctuate. I mean, just like I said, I already said that. But I'm just really trying to emphasize how much that's coming to the forefront in October because of what happened in September. You know, it was necessary in September for the Virgos to transcend that headspace, to fluctuate, and to allow themselves to kind of get past it, to get past some of the difficulties in September and the months previous to September. But it almost appears to me as if some Virgos have gotten into the state where they enjoy the fluctuation. They enjoy, like I said, the rush and the need to transform. This is kind of Scorpionic too. So I'm hearing Scorpio. Death rules Scorpio. So if some of you Virgos out there have predominant Scorpio placements in your chart, like a rising or a moon sign, or any stellium or cluster of perhaps Scorpio placements in your chart, this is definitely a message that I'm getting. There's so much transformative energy out there right now, so I wouldn't doubt if some of the Virgos that are watching right now have some Scorpio placements. Virgo and Scorpio can be kind of similar anyway, with their sort of perfectionist qualities, with their urge to organize and transform. So I'm trying to see, like, what's deeper than this. Like, so we've established that this need to transform, this need that the grass is greener on the other side type of complex. Why is that so? We've gotten a little bit deeper. We've talked about the connection with self and the self-dialogue. Maybe there might be some Virgos out there who don't feel like, who might have a bit of an injured ego or an injured sense of pride. That way, when they're forced to face themselves, when they're forced to look within, or they find themselves in a situation where, there aren't a lot of people readily available to be with them and they don't have distractions, they don't like what they see. Some of you guys may not like your own reflection or may feel guilt about something that's been going on in your life. That's definitely coming forward to me really strongly. And it's like you've been trying to distract yourself from that. And last September, I think a lot of Virgos, in September, took on DIY projects, changed a lot of things in their home. And it's like now you're accomplishing those goals and you're really proud of yourself. But then once you're done with it, it's like you're kind of back at square one. It's like, what do I take on now? That also correlates into your relationships with other people. You're always around other people right now because you want that distraction. It's like, what are you trying to distract yourself from, Virgo? What is it about being with yourself that seems so detrimental to you right now? I think this is why the Death card has popped up in your reading. This is something like, ooh, I just kind of caught on to something. This is the type of thing that needs to be transformed. This is the type of thing that needs to be transcended. These headspaces that you find yourself in as it relates to other people, relationships with other people, and, more superficial things, more surface level events of life, maybe things in your work, maybe things with your family relationships. Not to say that those things are superficial, but the relationship that we have with ourselves and understanding our own motivations is the root of our lives. So it's definitely kind of the least superficial thing, although I don't know, maybe some people who are really selfish might be considered superficial, but my point is, it's time to transform some of these deeper opinions and communicational habits with the self, rather than always trying to transform something, on the next layer, on the next outer layer, something with relationships with other people, with the way that other people come into your life. It's time to go deeper. It's time to transform something there. And I think you want to transform these more outer layer things in your life because you've done it so much, because it's more comfortable, it's easier. And it's almost like I feel like to go so deep within for you, Virgo, it seems scary. It seems, like I said, daunting, that Three of Wands in the reverse in the center of the spread. But you can't do that. You can't look at your new horizons. You can't look at your new possibilities until you can find your own true motivations, until you can transform those deep inner sort of gears and cogs that all like run. I think some of them for the Virgos out there are not running properly, and you've got a lot of maybe damage in there because of these inner systems that are not functioning properly or not healthy like you want them to be. So what can you guys do to start this process? You know, it's kind of something that's hard to measure. It's hard to sometimes measure the progress that we make with our connection to ourselves and our dialogue with ourselves. I think that journaling is great. You know, maybe just asking the question, when I'm alone, or when blank left me and I was forced to figure out problems on my own, how did I handle that? How did I talk to myself? How did I communicate with myself when I was left to my own devices with help from nobody, when people that I thought would be there for me were not? What did I do? And how did I function? You know, those are all questions that can be journaled about right now. There's a lot of progress that can be made by really putting that into writing. You know, just let yourself write. You know, Virgos, when Virgos put a project together or write about things, they can tend to be such perfectionists, perfect grammar, perfect everything. Allow yourself to step back from that, Virgo. Just free write, and write, and help. Because when you see things in their like rough form like that, there's a certain value to that, and Virgo likes everything to be refined. Like, you know, the gemstone needs to be cut, the gemstone needs to be polished. The gemstone in its raw form, when it's taken out of the earth, is not so valued by Virgo. It's valued when it's been cut and refined to Virgo. So that can actually block a lot of progress for Virgos as an archetypal energy, because they want everything to be so perfect and refined that sometimes they can't even start, or they can't even take something on because it's too rough, it's too imperfect for them. Now, the true Virgos, the Virgos who have transcended this energy, who have channeled it properly, and have what I kind of want to say, the higher evolved Virgos, they will take something in its rough form like that, and they will not look away until they have refined it. They will do that process of making something which is imperfect perfect. They will cut the gemstone, per se. And sort of our lower evolved Virgos want it to be cut for them, and will not look at something in its rough or imperfect form. So, and I took that kind of from the position of journaling and writing. Don't be afraid to just let it be imperfect for a while, Virgos. And then when you have a lot of content, when you can really look at the things that you can look at your own free writing and your own uncut gemstone, you know, speaking hypothetically here, and you can go in with a highlighter, you can go in with a red pen or something, and you can revise it, and you can look at everything, and you can color code it, and you can organize it, and you can take forward what you see and see your own motivations, create a system in which you can see your own motivations. And then how you go forward after that is up to you. Do you want to create a new document? Do you want to do a new writing? Do you just want this imperfect entry or entries that you've made with being highlighted and color-coded to look back at you? What really matters is that you have a light bulb moment, however you come by that. There's just a lot of work that needs to be done on the self in the month of October, Virgos. There's an emotional roller coaster, and there's consistency in October. You're going to see both. Stark, it's going to be black and white. It's very scorpionic energy, Plutonian energy coming in for the Virgos in October. You know, you're going to see extreme consistency, extreme stability, and you're going to see extreme volatility as well. And the only thing that you can do in reaction to these adverse circumstances is measure your own reaction and your own motivation and your own ability to transcend them. I wish you guys so much luck for that. You really have all the ability to do it. It's so great that the Death card has popped up for you guys. You guys have, and the Ace of Pentacles, having that up there, your financial problems are putting themselves in order. You're going to get a little bit more than you expected as it relates to money. Don't worry about financial things so much right now. Worry about yourself and your own motivations towards life. I hope this reading was great for you guys, and I really hope that you guys can comment, and if you kind of see this spread and see some of the energies for any of the other tarot enthusiasts out there, if you guys would like to start a dialogue in the comments about how you interpret this or how it's playing out for you, if this strikes a chord with you guys, I would love to get in a discussion. Likewise, if you would like any further clarification, jump over to my shop. I've got 3 different packages that I think you guys would really enjoy to check out. So have a great October, Virgos. Bye.